But yeah, I mean, there's a in Vrindavan, there's like the kids were playing, and there was a jackal who who stuck, and they put they stuck, and they just putting the thrones, and he was just jackal was running, and he was saving his life, and he entered into a hole, and the kids, though the children, those who were playing, they put a fire on the side of the entrance, and there's only one way to come out. And when the jackal wanted to come out, he got the fire. So, and in that fire, he was in that pain. He was crying, and so by just hearing the crying, and who is in Vrindavan is crying. I mean, who is in the pain? That's like a most worst thing. So Radharani was just passing by that way and with her Sakhis. And Radharani noticed that she says, Who is this? And just bring it to me right now here. So the Sakhis were saying, the Lalita Sakhi and Vishakha Sakhi were saying that, is this a jackal who got that fire? And they went there and put the jackal here, like bring the jackal here. And the Radharani was so mercifully put her hand on the head of that jackal. And we say that jackal is represent inauspiciousness, right? So, and then jackal turns into a gopi form, and all the inauspiciousness and things will go away, and is crying turns into a blissful in that bliss. So I was thinking in that way and meditating on that pastime and thinking that we are in this material world. We say that this material is a forest fire, right? Is a sansar dawa so this is like forest fire, and we are suffering, we are in separation of our eternal father and mother, and we are crying, and if we cry out in such a way that Radharani becomes so merciful, and with her, and when she put her hand with mercifully on our heads, we also becomes, everything will become auspicious. And auspicious thing means going back to our mother and father, going back to our real home, and when we will be happy. So yeah, that's the realization I had. So thank you, Prabhu, and giving me an opportunity to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful story. It's very, very inspiring. So Radha Ashtami is on the Sunday, the this
Isn't
week.
that Saturday, Prabhu, 30th?
I think it may vary by the geography, but maybe on Saturday in your area. So we just
No, I actually not 100% sure, but I'm just guessing it. Probably you were right.
on 31st because we have a program planned. Mm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, we have an event, or event done. Mm. So it's nice to meditate on the glories of Sri Radhika. I was also hearing some classes by His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj. So in the Bhagavatam where we paused last time, and I was traveling with this Dinabandhu Prabhu and Alachua, and then I'm traveling again on the 4th to 7th in Houston, then 12 to 18 in Farmington, then 1st October to India for 2 months. So, but nonetheless, we will continue reading. There may be a little bit ups and downs, but timing, etc. So we have covered the Rasa Panchadhyaya in Canto 10, which also is known as Radha Govind Maharaj was mentioning. That's where Radhika's name is mentioned. Anya Radhita Anunam Aradhati Iti Radha. The one who pleases Krishna the most is Sri Radhika. Mm. So we have read those chapters 31, 30, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Then we read Nanda Maharaj saved, Shankachura slain. We read that, right? The gopis sing. Then we read about the Arishtasur as well in chapter 36. Now we are going to read about the Keshi demon. That's chapter 37. Hmm. But before we read the story of the Keshi demon in chapter 37, today I shared that we'll cover the shortest verse of Bhagavad Gita. I popped that in the quiz also in this morning. So the shortest verse in the Gita is in chapter 4, text 31. And let's try to memorize this verse, read this, and then we'll quickly read the summary also of the Keshi demon story. So chapter 4 is transcendental knowledge, and text 31. Nayam loko asti stya ayagyasya kuto anya kuru sattama. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada ki. No, never. I am this loka planet. Asti, there is. A yagyasya, for one who performs no sacrifice. Yagya is sacrifice. A yagya is one who perform no sacrifice. Kutaha, where is? Anyaha, the other. Kuru Sattama, O best among the Kurus. O best of Kuru dynasty, O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Purport. Whatever form of material existence one is in, one is invariably ignorant of his real situation. In other words, existence in material world is due to the multiple reactions to our sinful lives. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, and sinful life is the cause of one's dragging on in material existence. The human form of life is the only loophole by which one can get out of this material entanglement. The Vedas therefore give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last the means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. The path of religion, or the different kinds of sacrifice recommended above, automatically solves our economic problems. The different kinds of sacrifice mentioned in the chapter 4. By performance of yagya, we can have enough food, enough milk, etc. Even if there is a so-called increase of population, when the body is fully supplied, naturally, the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe, therefore, sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. Thereby, one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage, and the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. Perfection is achieved by the performance of yagya, sacrifice, as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yagya according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life in this body? And what to speak of another body, on another planet? There are different grades of material comforts in different heavenly planets. And in all cases, there is immense happiness for persons engaged in different kinds of yagya. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planet by the practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. Wow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. So, in this verse, Lord Sri Krishna is explaining that human life is meant for sacrifice. If we want to be happy, we need to offer sacrifice. Not referring to animal sacrifice, which were in the previous ages, but here, let's take some notes. When we say sacrifice, what all comes to your mind? Hmm. What can we sacrifice? What is meant, here? Those who are not doing any sacrifice, life is not going to be happy in this life, or what to speak of the next. Would anyone like to share some thoughts on this topic of sacrifice?
Prabhuji, is the question what we can think of as sacrifice in this age?
Yeah, like when we read this verse, that those who are not doing sacrifice, they'll not be happy. That's what the verse said. In this life or in the next. So what all comes to your mind when we say sacrifice? What can we sacrifice? What we should sacrifice? What is sacrifice?
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this in this age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yagna. Sacrifice is the Yagna, right? The only thing is that we do in this age, we can get, I mean, you read it already, we can get everything by this sacrifice. So Yagna is Lord Vishnu, right? Lord Vishnu's another name is Yagnapati.
Mhm.
Sorry, Prabhu. So Yagnapati. So whatever we do, the main thing is whatever we do for the pleasure of Vishnu, right? So if nothing was done for the pleasure of Vishnu, then what is the use of that sacrifice? I mean, that things just come in my mind.
Do things, everything to please Vishnu, to please Krishna, and that's basically real sacrifice. Okay, very nice. What else we can do? Like everything now let's elaborate a little bit more. What else comes to our mind?
Prabhuji, we can sacrifice our time. We give our time for Bhagavatam, Bhagavad
Time,
Gita.
very important. Time in reading, hearing scriptures, because time is the biggest thing these days. What else we can do? Go to temple, festivals, yatras, right? All that needs time. Hmm. Or someone may have a spiritual like hobby like making garlands, etc. So time is required for anything. And directly when we engage in Krishna's service, time is the biggest investment in any relationship, right? Investment in what, like just think about your husband, your friend, your brother, sister. They may send $1 million gift. Would that make you happy? But they never talk to you, they never spend time with you. But they may just talk kind words lovingly and spend in quality 1 hour. What will we, a genuine person will value time, right? So, time, yes, very nice. Then, resources, whatever Krishna has given us, whether it's our home, we try to, it's not meant for me, my family, and to enjoy our selfishly, but it's meant for Krishna. Home, resources. So we engage it in some way by inviting devotees every so often, whether it's once a week, whether it's once a month, or whether it's once a year, that may vary. But ultimately, we say, oh, Krishna has given us this house. But it should be open for Krishna. It should be open for Vaishnavas. It should be open. Prabhupada mentions if anyone has a spare room in their house, they should do a program. They should invite some friends, chant Hare Krishna home. Money, right? We all earn something, or family or husband, wife earn. We should use it for Krishna, for his devotees. So the condition, no, mind does not want that. So money, yajna dana tapa pavanani manishinam, right? It purifies even the great souls. What else? In our intelligence, right? Krishna has given us some skills, some hobbies, right? Someone could be good in dance, someone could be good uh, in art, right? Different skills Krishna has given. Cooking is great. So all that basically, when we dovetail, as Mataji was saying, everything to please Krishna, it's become sacrifice. What else?
Prabhuji, I don't know if this is right, but our thoughts, our
Hmm.
thoughts.
Thoughts, very nice. Yes, thoughts. How can we engage in some negative thoughts? We must control, or like negative emotions, thoughts, emotions, that they are not favorable to bhakti. We should control and minimize. And positive thoughts, which are Krishna conscious, we try to do more. These are in chapter 4, this comes our that spiritual oblations offered with spiritual instruments in the spiritual fire by a spiritual person, Huta, will lead to spiritual destination because of absorption in spiritual activities. This is a very interesting verse in text 24. And then later, Lord Krishna mentioned what all can be sacrificed. So for karma yogis, material possessions, devata worship, material jnani yogis, philosophical analysis, brahmacharis, they control their senses. Grihastha is the sense object, it's meant for a regulated um, Krishna consciousness, regulated sense enjoyment. Patanjali yogis, they sacrifice, do pranayam, this, lom vilom, all that. Dravya, possessions, charity, etc. So the fire is the charity. Generally, when we hear the word sacrifice, the word comes in mind, yagya and agni and swaha, 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 right? So all this is mentioned in chapter 4, and that's what Krishna meant when he says above. Mm. But I think we have covered, the essence here. So the senses, the bad desires, thoughts, desires, which are not favorable, we, we give them up. These days, even so many other attachments we can sacrifice. Attachments which are unhealthy attachments, primarily. We give up in the fire of the detachment, unhealthy attachments. Greed, bad habits, we can do swaha, burn them with the fire of knowledge. So, all this is going to help us to be happy. But those who don't do so, ayagyasya, nayam loko, they won't be happy. Nayam, they cannot be happy. Where cannot they be? Na is world mein, na next time. Kuto anya lok mein bhi nahi khush hoon. They will not be happy in this life, nor in the next. Now, the completely opposite will be those who do sacrifice, those who do the bhakti yoga, the best of all sacrifice, yajnanam japa yajnasmi. They will be happy in this life and in the next. Therefore, Prabhupada is mentioning Krishna consciousness is the solution to all material problems. Any problem, anything we may have, we can have all these, People say poverty is a problem, unemployment is a problem, and bad youth is a problem, and unwanted progeny is a problem, and economic problem, political problem. Any problem we take, the root causes lack of Krishna consciousness, and the solution is life of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is mentioning all material problems, all material existence. If everyone becomes a devotee, if everyone becomes um, Krishna conscious and puts others before themselves, then life will be so happy and joyful and peaceful. These days, even brothers and sisters, over property, over this, over that, everyone is fighting and fighting. Over land, even 1 inch of land, what to speak of? How can he get extra? I deserve more. I want more. I. But Krishna consciousness, even Sri Radharani talking about, linking about Sri Radha Ashtami. Srila Prabhupada mentions that Radharani, when we pray to the Universal Mother, Radharani says, Krishna, Krishna, please accept this devotee. He is even a better devotee than me. And Krishna is a henpecked husband. If Radharani says, if Sri Radha says, Krishna is the one who puts even his head at the lotus feet of Sri Radharani, as per Jayadev Goswami in the Gita Govinda. So if she refers someone, her referral does not go in vain, right? Guaranteed. It's not like she'll try. If she refers, Krishna has to accept. And it's not that there is only limited seats in Krishna's abode that, oh, the first 100 will be, admitted, no vacancy after that. Krishna is unlimited. Sri Radhika's compassion is unlimited. Her karuna, as Mataji was sharing, even the jackal is not very kind of, no one wants to have like a pet jackal. No one wants to say, oh, you look cute like a jackal. We say, oh, you're cute like a rabbit, or funny like squirrel, or these are like good examples, or kind of cute like a baby elephant, or gait like a royal lion. But no one say, hey, you are fast like a jackal. No one compares to a jackal. But Shri Radharani, and even before that, Shri Radharani sends Lalita Sakhi hmm, to bring her, to bring the jackal to her. So when we also cry in this material world by chanting, and what is the best thing we can do on Radha Ashtami? She loves Krishna. Radhika loves Krishna. So to chant Krishna's name, to chant Krishna's name, Shri Radha is happy. Chant Radha's name, Krishna is happy. That's their mutual love. And we chant both of their name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna is basically Radha Krishna put together. No? So, life of Krishna consciousness is the solution to all the problems. Maya is very strong. Maya will say, oh, this problem, these days visa problem, president problem, prime minister problem, tariff problem, this problem, economic problem, visa. So many Maya will keep giving excuses to postpone bhakti, to figure out some other thing. But ultimately, this is the real thing. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kore Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Koila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Having firm faith that if I render sincere bhakti, everything will fall in place. And everything does fall in place for those who have that faith. For those who are weak and they are holding back, Krishna will also hold back. So this Radha Ashtami, we can pray that oh Radhika, let me intensely call. I'm also holding back in my cave. I'm also fearful. I'm also nervous. Don't want to take full shelter. I think my money will save me, my house will save me, my husband, wife will save me, my 401k will save me. But ultimately, it's your karuna only which can save me. Prana prayana samaye kafavata pittai kantavarodana smaro kantavarodana vidho smaranam kutasta. When the prana is going, no one can save. The money cannot save. The degrees, the 401k, everything will just. These are compared to as fallible soldiers in the Bhagavatam, family, wealth, etc. These soldiers will not be able to rescue us or guard us when the real test will come. So, back to the verse. O best of the Kuru dynasty. Kuru Sattama, Kuru Uttam, Tara Tama. Kurus. So in English, we say like good, better, best, ER, or greater, greatest. So, great, greater, greatest. So, Tara Tama. Tama is like superlative. Hmm? So, the best of the Kurus. And let's all try to memorize. This is not a lengthy verse. If you feel inspired, you can also try. O best of the Kurus, Kuru Sattama, Nayam Loko, Nayam Loko. In this world, Asti Ayagyasya, one who is Ayagyasya, one who does not perform Yagya, one who does not chant Krishna's name, one who does not do all the other Yagya practices we discuss. He will not be happy in this world. Kuto Anya, even in the other planets, even in the next birth, who knows which species we may get, one will not be happy. You want to try reciting this and maybe memorize also as you're reciting? Anyone, please, both of you can try.
I can try to. Nayam loko asti, Nayam loko asti ageyasya, kuto anya kuro sattama. Nayam loko asti yagyasya, kuto anya kuru sattama. Okay. Can I have translation, bro?
Mm.
Okay, without sacrifice, can never live happily in this planet or the next. Okay. Is the same verse in the fourth chapter is talking about the faith, that Shraddha, Ashraddha Dhyana se, that verse is talking about that if those who have no faith, cannot be happy in this world or not even the next. I think, yeah, fall down, yeah.
Yes.
Faithless person.
For doubting soul, there is no happiness in this world or the next. Right? This one you meant?
Yes, Prabhu. This one, and I think one is the previous from this verse, 39. Uh, yeah, I mean, those both are talking about faithless and faithful man. So, yeah, list. Yeah, I think in the second 17th chapter also, mm, Krishna is talking about the three things one should not leave, right? Um, Yagya, Dan, and Tap. So this is the austerity he's talking about in Bhagavad Gita, that one should not leave. That is the three things, Yagya, Dan, and Tapa.
Yes. That's in the 18th chapter.
Okay. Okay, 18th chapter, maybe I forgot. Sorry. Thank you, Prabhu, for correcting me. Yeah.
Let me.
So yeah, I mean, sacrifice the big. I was thinking when you were discussing, I was also thinking about that. The big sacrifice we do for Krishna, when we have this understanding of Krishna consciousness, then uh, at every stage of life we do some sacrifice. Like anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. So when one has to leave everything which is not favorable for our, which is detrimental to Krishna consciousness, we are leaving. And before coming to the Krishna consciousness, actually we are doing the same thing which is unfavorable to the Krishna consciousness. Like all the material attachments, all the, all the bad habits as you're discussing that. But when we come to the Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives the four, Prabhupada gives the four regulative principles, right? That covers everything. um, Illicit sex, meat eating, you know, we say that like, well, what was it, meat eating and alcohol and everything, because most of the generation is drinking and meat eating. So that's the thing. The illicit relationship is also is becoming very common in this society. And what was the other two? How can I forget it? Like the illicit sex and the um, meat eating, and the other two is
No gambling.
gambling. Yeah, gambling. The gambling, Los Angeles, you go there like it's a city of gamble. So yeah, that is the there. So it's everything we need to sacrifice. We need to stop. We need to stop when you try to go. The first thing that is your choice. What there is always a choice. We say that there is always B and D, there is a C. So birth and death, there is a choice. So one has to choose which path. So first sacrifice is that, but we choose to go on the right path, which is most difficult. For example, that why the bad habits is so easy to take up than the good habits, because water has an inclination to go down, but when you try to up that, then you have to stop something, like you make a dam, or like we see that in this world, like if you want to take the opposite direction of the water, then you have to put some obstruction, right? You have to stop that water flowing in the downside, and then it goes eventually to the upside. These are all sacrifice, right? We do the sacrifice of doing we do sacrifice to wake up in the morning. We do chanting. We try to focus our mind, fix our mind, which is Krishna all over the Bhagavad Gita. He's saying that give your mind, fix your mind. So, so these are all kind of like, we do the sacrifice for Krishna. So, and that is our you know that is our part. We can say that that is our part to do that, because rest is depend on Krishna's mercy, but our part is doing those which is not favorable, which is detrimental to my bhakti. I have to leave it. I have to find that courage. I have to build that strength to say no to that, those bad habits. And now I have to choose that path, and I have to go. So that requires everything, jan sanga, lolyam cha, everything one has to leave it. We leave our friends. I mean, that's, I'm saying it, my personal experience, that when we were in before coming there, I have many friends. uh, Now I have very less friends. um so because hardly we take interest in those things, right? Maybe we are interested in politics and Bollywood and so many other things, topics to discuss about in this world. But when coming to the Krishna consciousness, I mean, everybody has some experience, right? We become disinterest, we develop disinterest in those topics. So yeah, like that, these are all sort of sacrifice a bhakta, a devotee does for Krishna, or for his Krishna consciousness. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Go ahead.
You know,
Sorry.
Very nice. Since you're talking about the regulative principles, I think it's important to discuss a little bit more about regulative principles. And actually, we may feel that, yeah, oh, I'm following everything, but I'm just telling about myself. Following everything is a very big thing. And if we follow everything, that means we have become pure devotees. We are on the path of following. We are trying to follow the the guidance of scriptures. We fail, sometimes knowingly, due to weakness of heart, due to lack of spiritual strength, as you were mentioning. Sometimes unknowingly, sometimes we are still bound in the modes of material nature. We don't want to do, but we end up doing. Sometimes we are just compelled, right? As Arjuna asked, like sometimes we're just compelled to do something we don't want to. But the spiritual strength gives us the power to say yes to the right and no to the wrong. And that strength comes from the core Krishna consciousness. One devotee was sharing this four regulative principles. I think you must be knowing this, the dharma pillar. There are four pillars of dharma. So no meat eating. What are the four pillars of dharma? Daya, tapa, satya, and shaucha. So no meat eating is breaking which pillar? Or if someone is meat eating, he or she,
Mercy.
daya,
Mercy.
compassion, right? Kindness, non-violence, ahimsa. Do not cause harm, unnecessary harm to other beings or anyone. Intoxication, which pillar is broken there?
Killing of animal is like mercy, Prabhu, right? You lost the mercy.
Yeah, next, yeah, that I covered.
Oh,
Intoxication.
okay.
Next is tapas, austerity. Mm. Gambling. Gambling means to lie, to cheat, to trick, truthfulness. Mm. And then no illicit sex, or if someone is engaging in these, it's shaucha or cleanliness. The pillar is broken. But there is beautiful, subtle meaning also. For those, someone will say, well, okay, ये सब तो मैं कर रहा हूँ. I mean, in a right way, ये मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Or I'm not meditating, I don't intoxicate, gambling, and all this, I've been born in a nice family. At least in this lifetime, I have not engaged in all these wrong things. Because if you notice, all these are gross. You can tell, like if someone is doing, there's like a parameter. It's not like subtle, right? Are they eating or not eating, right? Intoxication. They're like smoking, drinking, alcohol, etc. So it's like easy to, and if someone is even doing that, it's there are so many societies and Alcoholics Anonymous and how people's lives have been lost by doing all these wrong things. But generally, even those people who are doing those things in the past, they come to the path of bhakti, they're able to give up all these bad habits grossly. Mm. What's the subtle meaning here? Can anyone share? Have you read or heard anywhere? Okay, I'll try to share. Compassion, non-violence, jivadaya. Sometimes we may not be grossly killing, right? Like buying meat, fish, eggs. That's like gross, right? People fishing, they catch the fish, then they fry the fish or eat it and whatnot, cut it. It's gross. It's sinful, no doubt. Whether it's fish or other animals, and no, it's bad. Certainly, one has to pay the price. But sometimes We were recently hearing in the kids' class, Lord Shiva mentions this. I want to bring this verse to your attention. The power of words. Lord Shiva mentions in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, the story of Daksha Sati. If one is hurt by the arrows of an enemy, one is not aggrieved as much when cut by the unkind words of a relative, for such grief continues to rend one's heart day and night. So words, the S को आगे लगा the sword. Words cause more pain than the sword. So sometimes we may not cause gross pain, but we may give even more pain by bad words, unkind words, and uh, pulling others down, criticizing, fault finding. So these are even hard to give up. Mm. Mm. So one has to be careful. One should not cause anudvegakaram vakyam, anudvega satyam priyam hitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasanam chaya vangmayam tapa uchit. One should not speak words which will cause violence or agitation. Anu yasman no dujate loko loka na dujate chayah. That person is very dear to Krishna, who does not cause violence by their words, by their actions, by their deeds, body, mind, and words. Not just physically. Killing does not just mean physical. One could kill more by bad words. Mm. Gambling. Gambling basically means risking, is it? I'll put $1 and I'll get $100, right? That's basically gambling. Get rich quick schemes, right? There's no such truthful scheme. People do lottery and gambling and get rich quick scheme and put $1, get $10, and get $100 in 1 month. There's no like if $1 could make $100 in 1 month, then everyone would be a millionaire, right? There would be no poor people. Everyone would have millions of dollars. But we we trick, we cheat, we lie, it's all breaking truth means. But the subtle meaning is not take risk. Manushya janam paya, this human life. दुर्लभ मानुषो देहो देहि नाम क्षण भंगुरई. बहुत मुश्किल से मिला ये देह. देह क्षण में भंग हो सकता है. Is it not? We see light accident, plane accident, car accident. Recently, this Florida, this one truck driver accident is getting very famous. Um, some school shooting, some bombs, some terrorists, some floods, some hurricane. Every day newspapers, it's full of that. But we gamble. बाद में कर लूंगा. अभी तो बहुत जीवन पड़ा. I have 50 more years. I have 40 more years. I can always. So we gamble our life actually. Is it not? We're gambling our life. I'm not talking about you. You're both very, very sincere. I'm talking about myself. Procrastinating bhakti. चलो बाद में कर लेंगे. अभी इतनी जल्दी क्या है? बाद में. थोड़ा बहुत कर रहे हैं. Okay, let's continue थोड़ा. Hmm. That's gambling. You're gambling our. So not take risk. Who knows? Next life I could be a snake. Next life I could be a, ant in a or a worm, or who knows? Will I get association of devotees? Will I get to hear Harinam? Who knows? Therefore, whatever is here and now, right? Whatever time, energy, resources Krishna has given, let's not gamble those. Let's use our time, our energy, our intelligence to the best we can. Mm. No gambling, subtle. Cleanliness also refers to many other habits, right? We may, in the mind also, the mind is hard, like the goal of life is Om Apavitram Pavitro Sarvavastham Gatopi, to become pure inside and outside. Unfortunately, in it is very sad statistics these days that someone shared this statistics, that 50% of the married people have outside affairs. Mm. And I don't know, they were referring in India or US or globe, but the number was alarming. Whether it's 50 or 40 or 30, this number is very alarming. And these days we know kids, like some Vrindavan saints, they mention about that having live-in relationship is not a healthy idea. And the feminist people are objecting, oh, who are you to tell, and this and that. And you must have heard that, this got in the news, like some nice Vrindavan Babas, they commented that people should remain pure till they get married. Don't experiment, they're not, whether one is male body or female body applies both sides to stay pure in our mind or to stay clean. But the statistics are very sad these days. Inside purity, outside purity is very, very rare. And unfortunately, it's sad to say that even in Krishna conscious communities also it may pop up. It does pop up if we are not careful. If we think, no, 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 I am Paramhamsa, मेरे को तो कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता, that's the biggest risk. One should always have a healthy fear. One should be mindful of one's conduct with the opposite sex. One should not, you know, dangle or, just like have loose talks. One should be careful of one's dealings, one's words, one's conversations, one's messages, one's whatever. Even one is married, still one should be careful because Maya is strong, and one should be mindful that I am a sadhaka. I am trying to learn this. So one should not consider oneself a premature paramhamsa. Oh, I am beyond. I've been practicing for 10 years, 20 years. I'm beyond all this. No, many experts. I don't want to share names. Recently, one sannyasi is gone. Now, 50 years after practicing Krishna consciousness. 50 years, can you imagine? No, unfortunately, some women affair happen. So one should be careful, very careful. Um, Inside, outside, and out habits, developing habits, because ultimately, what's your thoughts? What do you say? What's your thoughts? Thoughts become desires. What's your desire? Desires become, what's your desires? They become thoughts. Thoughts your thoughts, they become actions. What's your action become habit. So even if like a bad thought comes like a jamil, try to cut that down. A jamil, contemplate on that thought and that it led to further thing. Thoughts we cannot control. I mean, gradually we will be able to, but it's harder. A bad thought because so many like adulteration around, but we should not be intentional about it. Intentionally doing things, watching things, or hanging out with those people that we can choose not to. But still, sometimes, you go to outside in a shopping complex and you may see something inappropriate. You may go to a beach, you may see something inappropriate. You may just go minding your own business driving and you may see something which is not so good for the eyes. Then we just have to kind of not contemplate and pass on. Um, and then the last is no austerity. Sorry, intoxication. No intoxication. Intoxication also means, bevda, which you will say in Hindi. When it is bevda, one loses their sense of right and wrong. One is not able to distinguish what's good for me or what's bad for me. And all these other things, one could be intoxicated with pride. Nevam pashyati janmanda kamande eva na pashyati. Arti dosham na pashyati madon matta na pashyati. Like Duryodhana was intoxicated with pride. Oh, I'm the best. There's a mujhse badh ke koi nahi hai. Oh, I'm the most wealthy. Mujhse badh ke koi nahi. Oh, I'm the most beautiful. I'm the most learned. Even in spiritual circle, it may come. Oh, I give the best class. Oh, I give the best cooking. Oh, I do the best this. This, even in this, that's what we read about the Asuras and Vrindavan. All these represents anarthas. Even in spiritual life, they may pop up. No? One should not become intoxicated, even in of anything. These are subtle, and everyone will has to go. The test is not going to, we can't pass that class without going. Like if you have to pass the 10th grade, you have to give the 10th exam. To pass the 12th grade, you have to give the 12th exam. No one can say, oh, I passed the 12th grade without giving the exam. No, one has to, Krishna will test. How that test will be, the test may be different. Different timing, different circumstances, different time, place, situation, but the test will come. These are the subtle meanings of also these regulative principles which devotees mention, which we should be very mindful, which we should be mindful. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts, comments here?
You said very right, Prabhuji. Lust is our enemy, right? Bhagavad Gita, there's a whole lust series is there. So this is our enemy. And I remember that the Prabhupada is saying that it doesn't mean that I don't have lust. He says that I have no time for lust. So if, as you are saying that if one is just engaging in thinking, remembering in service of Krishna, so they don't have time for, right? The time is fast. When you make a disciplined life, when you make a planned way of life, that okay, I will have to cook for Krishna, clean for Krishna, and do read for Krishna, do the services for Krishna, going to the so as like, we don't have to do something very extraordinary. As a bhakti yogi, one has to do the simple things. Like we engaging our senses in the service of the master of senses, was the Rishikesh, right? Mm. So yeah, I mean, one has to like Ambrish Maharaj did. He has engaged all his senses in the service of the Lord. So these are the examples as you are mentioning the Ajamil section. So we have both examples, right? How Ambrish Maharaj was using all his senses in the service of Lord, and other side that we see that the Jamil's just one sense um, take him away. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse that there is even one roaming senses can sway your intelligence. So one has to be, we say that first you be conscious, then become Krishna conscious. One has to be really conscious about that, what we eat, what we see, what we do in our life. So then you become Krishna consciousness. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes. As Krishna Prabhu says, your seva will save you. Seva will save you. So seva means Krishna conscious engagement, chanting, reading, hearing, cooking, distributing books, working for Krishna, etc., etc. So seva saves us. I've also seen that in my life also. If we don't have seva, then we will be directionless, purposeless, and we'll feel lost. We have to find that seva. What is that seva? Which I like to do, I love to do. And I feel joyful, I feel nourished, nurtured, and that will save us. Okay, I think it was good discussion today. So if you feel inspired, you can memorize 431, which we just read. And then we'll continue tomorrow. We'll just start the Keshi demon chapter. Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.